So about 2 months ago, I made a speed test video where I did a sprint the width of the 18-yard box in all kinds of different boots to see if any one in particular would make me faster or slower. I timed myself and we had some final results. But if you watch that video at the very start, I showed you this clip right here.
There it goes.
That was me tweaking my hamstring about 3 months ago now, a couple doctor's visits later, and it turns out what I thought was a tweak was actually a tear. Yeah. What's going on, guys? Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com bringing you a video today to tell you the story of the worst injury that I've had since doing this YouTube channel, and that is tearing my hamstring without actually knowing that I tore my hamstring. Not good. If you guys do end up enjoying the video, don't forget to support it with a like, and if you're new here watching for the first time, don't forget to hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear, and I guess injury updates. So if I break my arm or something, I'll make a video. Hope I don't break my arm. So let me start off by addressing one question that a lot of you guys have been asking and have definitely noticed on the channel. Where are the playtest videos? Because there hasn't really been one for the last 2 months. Well, knowing what you know now, I feel like the answer is pretty self-explanatory. I've basically been injured, but not injured to the point where I haven't been able to play. I would say that I'm a little bit better now, but over the last 2 months or so, I've been at about 70% capacity. After all, I made that speed test video about a month after originally tearing my hamstring, and I felt okay, I just didn't feel that great. And after that video, I didn't say it in the video, I did end up tweaking it before finishing everything. So the plan for that video originally was to actually test out more boots than I ended up testing, but I got to a point where basically I couldn't walk again because I had retweaked the injury that I had definitely started about a month prior to that. So I haven't been doing play tests kind of in fear of retweaking the injury because I know if I put a camera out and I try to do something impressive, I would extend a little bit too far or kick the ball too hard or push off in the wrong way and start the injury all over again. And this has been something that has just been a very long process for me for recovering. Anyone that has had any kind of hamstring tweak or tear knows that it is one of the worst injuries that you can have as far as recovery time is concerned. So I've just been being very careful. But based on how my recovery has gone over the last 2 or 3 weeks, it looks like I'm gonna be at 100% sooner rather than later. So for those asking for play tests, they're coming back relatively soon. So basically this is what happened. Now that initial clip that you guys saw from 3 months ago where I thought I tweaked my hamstring was actually very much my fault. Not because I didn't warm up, not because I didn't stretch, because I actually did that. I was very worried about specifically this injury for this test because the plan was to basically do these long 40-yard sprints over the course of basically 2 hours, but it was gonna be originally about 14 sprints, which doesn't seem like that much, especially if you're in decent shape, but fatigue does set in, especially when you're trying to run as fast as you can. It doesn't necessarily work out all that well. Anyways, I knew I was gonna do this, so what did I do the day before? I rested, right? No, didn't rest. I decided to go do a leg day workout, and what happens after a leg day workout, typically for 99% of people, if you did a good workout, is that you end up being sore and really tight the next day, which I was. So even though I warmed up, even though I stretched, my legs in general were not at 100%. So trying to do a bunch of very long sprints, running as fast as I possibly can, not really a great idea. But I did it anyways, and I ended up tweaking my hamstring, which several months later, I would find out was actually a tear. So here's a timeline of how everything went down. When I initially tweaked my hamstring in that clip that I showed you, I basically ended up taking 2 weeks off from doing anything, mainly because I had to. My hamstring legitimately hurt that bad. What I did find weird, and this should have been a red flag way back then, is that my hamstring hurt at the very base, the lower part, the insertion of my hamstring towards the back of the knee and upper calf, which I was kind of weirded out by because historically when I have tweaked my hamstring, it's the entire hamstring, kind of the middle part, even up into your butt a little bit, that really hurt. But this was not the case. It was at the very base of my knee. And it didn't really get better as quickly as I was hoping to, but after about 2 weeks, I could walk fairly normal, I could jog pretty normally, I could even run to a certain extent, but there was this hitch at the base of my hamstring where there was just a significant loss of flexibility. And if I tried to extend any further than what it was allowing me to, basically I would just retweak it and start the whole process over again. Because I'm horrible at resting, I basically didn't rest. As soon as I could jog, I was playing again. I was testing out new boots. I was mainly playing pickup. I didn't play anything too serious because sprinting was a bit of a problem, but I got to a point where I felt like I was confident enough to go and do some sprinting, which is when I did that speed test video that you saw, not at 100%. My sprint was, I would say, very much restricted in terms of stride length, especially on my left side, just because my hamstring just would not allow me to extend as far as I wanted to, which does kind of make that test, looking back on all of this, knowing what I know, a little bit flawed. Maybe I'll do it again in the future if you guys want to see it. But either way, at the end of that speed test video that you guys did end up seeing, I didn't show you a second clip because I don't think that I have it. I did end up actually retweaking my hamstring. And basically over the last 2 months, I've been trying to figure out what's wrong with it. It kind of got really good again to a certain point, but I never felt like it got past about 70% as far as being fully recovered. So what I decided to do about 2 weeks ago is actually go and see a doctor, which I should have done 3 months ago. After seeing the doctor, basically turn around, let me see your hamstrings in the back of your knees just from standing, and immediately the doctor noticed that there's a big lump at the base of my hamstring, which I'm not sure how I didn't notice, but there was in fact a big lump there. I can't show it to you now because it's kind of been worked on and is pretty much almost gone. But basically through physiotherapy, I've been getting treatment, all kinds of different things. The most painful being that metal scraper thing. I'm not exactly sure what it's called. I'll try to post a picture of it on screen, but basically what the issue was, why it wasn't healing up properly, because it was slightly torn, not just a tweak, which immediately the doctor kind of picked up on. There was a ball of scar tissue at the very base of my hamstring, which was what was causing that lump and preventing the hamstring from healing properly, which is why I felt that hitch as far as flexibility is concerned. So basically they take this metal thing and they scrape away at that entire area to break up the scar tissue. And that allows for the muscle to, I guess, heal properly. Again, I don't know. If I knew, I wouldn't be injured this long. I just kind of let the doctor do what the doctor does. And it seems to be getting a whole lot better over the last 2 weeks, surprisingly so. This obviously is why I haven't been recovering. So that's where I'm at right now. I feel as I'm standing here that I'm like at 80% fully recovered. And I want to say that over the next 2 weeks or so, I should be very close to 100%, which means that play test will be coming back. But that's basically the story, fast forwarded, of what has happened up until this point. So yeah, I tore my hamstring without knowing that I tore my hamstring, and I've been playing with a torn hamstring for the better part of about 3 months, but that seems to be coming to an end. So my word of advice to you is that if you injure yourself and it doesn't seem to be getting better, even if you just injure yourself immediately, it's probably not a bad idea to go see a doctor. And that concludes the story of my torn hamstring. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to support it with a like. If you have any questions for me, I guess, leave them down below in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them as best as I possibly can, although don't ask any kind of doctor stuff because clearly I'm not a doctor. I didn't even know I tore my hamstring. If you aren't subscribed already, be sure to hit that subscribe button for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. Other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.